What's going on, Falcon fans? Today we're going to be taking a look at the first week of free agency and all the big moves that we have made. Now, obviously, I dropped a video on about the Falcons free agency needs, so you go check that out. And the first player I actually mentioned in that video was Dante Fowler. Look how that turns out. That was the first signing of our free agency. Now, like I said, before free agency even started, there was rumors that Dante wanted to play for Atlanta, and obviously we had a big need at pass rush, so that was a great pickup. We picked him up, got him secured. he's going to have a big impact on our team. Let me tell you the stats from the last 2 years. Now, his 2018 stats are not necessarily screaming at you, but it was a Super Bowl team, and he did have an impact on the Super Bowl defense, so that values something. He only had 21 tackles and 2 sacks. Now, that's kind of quiet, but in the 2019 season, he had a total of 58 tackles and 11 sacks, finishing top 10 in sacks in the NFL. And this was also Dante's best year that he has ever since he's been in the league, so it certainly looks like he's on his rise. Expect those numbers to come up. Dante's a great player off the edge. He has a lot of speed, strength, and he will get after the quarterback. Now, we're going to talk about the biggest signing that we made, Todd Gurley. Like I said, I already dropped a video on the Atlanta's free agency needs, and I addressed the running back situation, but I definitely wasn't thinking Todd Gurley would be available, nor did I just want to think Todd Gurley would be available. That was the last thing crossing my mind. I was thinking that Atlanta should go after Kenyon Drake, running back out of Arizona. He came off a breakout year. Because, like I said, running back was such a need for them. We had the worst rushing offense in the league this year. Well, so, obviously, we got to make some moves at that. And no better way to get an MVP candidate like Todd Gurley. Now, a lot of people were trying to talk bad about Todd Gurley, saying he fell off, this and that, his knees suck. Well, let me just read you his last 2 years stats. Because they're not as bad as everybody thinks at all. I mean, very good numbers. His 2018 stats, his MVP season, MVP candidate season, he had 1,200 rushing yards with 17 rushing touchdowns, but he also had 580 receiving yards with 4 receiving touchdowns. Now, those are huge numbers. I mean, that's the whole reason he's an MVP candidate in the first place. And in 2019, his most previous year, he put up 857 rushing yards with 12 rushing touchdowns. And where his numbers really took a dip is in the receiving game. He only had 200 receiving yards with 2 touchdowns. And let me tell you, that's not too bad, I mean, 1,200 rushing yards, that's a lot, and he finished with 857 last year. So when you really look at it, he's just 150 yards short off a 1,000-yard season. Everyone knows as a running back, if you get a 1,000-yard season, that's a good year for you. You're doing good for yourself. And like I said, he was just one game away from really accomplishing that. So Todd Gurley's still producing at a high level. Don't believe what anyone else is telling you. And he's going to have a very good impact on our team. And like I said, the Falcons, their main problem is in the red zone. And now that we have one of the best running backs in the game of football, and we pair him beside Julio Jones, oh man, the red zone, it's going to be our best friend. We're going to be getting a whole lot of touchdowns down there. Now, everybody knows we lost Austin Hooper in free agency to the Browns. It was also looking like we didn't even have enough money to bring him back, so it was looking like a lose-lose situation, but the Falcons have managed to pull some magic. Came out with Hayden, Hurst. We completed a trade to the Ravens. Not exactly what we gave up. I'm pretty sure it was a second round. I'm almost 100% sure it was a second round now that I think about it. And let me tell you, I watched a lot of Ravens games this year simply for Lamar Jackson, and Hayden Hurst was one of those few players who really stood out to me. And he's a really good receiving tight end, kind of underlooked. The only reason why his numbers aren't high is because, first of all, Baltimore is the best run offense that we've ever seen, and they love to run the football. Second, they run a 2 tight end system. Now, it may sound weird, but Hayden was actually the 3rd string tight end, but that's because he's more of a receiving tight end than anything. The 2 tight ends above him were a lot of run blocking. They could do it all. Hayden's really much of a receiver tight end, but he can block. Don't underestimate that. And a receiving tight end could really benefit this offense. I mean, look at Austin Hooper. That's exactly what he was. And Hayden, he was only drafted 2 years ago, and it's not like he's had any bad years. I mean, when you watch Hayden, he runs routes good. He has good hands. He knows how to get open. I expect him to put up some good numbers in this offense. And the last player we're going to be talking about is Laquon Treadwell. Now, Laquon is a 6'2 receiver who runs a 4'6", and he has some inconsistent hands. And he's only 24 years old. Let me start that off. He hasn't really found himself in the NFL yet. He doesn't really know his role, but playing with a player like Julio Jones, that could benefit you a lot. And then you have Calvin Ridley on the next side. So Calvin Ridley's a great route runner. He has sure hands. And then you have Julio, who's just a monster. He does it all. And then you find yourself with Laquon Treadwell. I mean, I think this could be his blow-up year. I mean, he has a real opportunity to find himself in this offense. I mean, there's no pressure on him. We have weapons all across the board. All he has to do is just a minor role. And I think he will be good. And Falcons, they definitely made some big signings. I really like what they're doing this offseason. Hopefully they keep this up.